What if the one person you can't escape is the one you haven't yet become? The ancient Stoics understood a brutal truth. We are all architects of our own character. Every decision, every fleeting thought, every action is another brick laid in the foundation of our future self. The question isn't who you are today, but who you are choosing to become with every passing moment. Imagine a man you would truly respect, not a celebrity or a character from a story, but someone you know. What does he look like? How does he react under pressure? That man is a blueprint waiting to be actualized. The first principle is to live with intention. A life without a design is a life left to chance. You wouldn't build a house without a plan, so why build a life without one? Define the virtues that matter to you. Courage, justice, wisdom, and discipline. Make them your pillars. The foundation of a worthy life is built brick by brick. The second is to focus on what you can control and to surrender the rest. Your reputation, your health, and the opinions of others are on loan to you. They are not yours to command. Your desires, your judgments, and your actions, those are your dominion. When you internalize this, you become unshakable. What would happen to your anxiety if you truly let go of everything you couldn't change? Third, practice negative visualization. Don't just think of what you want, contemplate what you have and the fact that it can be taken away. This is not pessimism, it is preparedness. By feeling the weight of loss in your mind, you forge a gratitude so strong that no one can steal it from you. You cherish the moment, not as a fleeting fantasy, but as a precious, fragile reality. The world will always test your resolve. The question is, will you bow or will you bend? Fourth, endure hardship with grace. Obstacles are not roadblocks, they are fuel. The fire that refines gold is the same that destroys straw. What is your friction? What is the thing you are avoiding? That is the very thing that will temper your steel. Don't seek comfort, seek the forge. The fifth principle is to act with integrity when no one is watching. This is the mark of a true craftsman of the soul. When you are alone and the silence is deafening, who are you? When you are invisible, do you still build a structure of which you can be proud? Sixth, practice deep listening. Before you speak, listen to understand, not to reply. The mind that is always occupied with its own thoughts has no room for wisdom. True strength lies in the power to absorb, process, and then respond with clarity, not with the first angry retort that comes to mind. Silence is the soil where true power grows. What if you chose to listen more than you spoke? The seventh principle is to be the master of your judgments. The event itself is neutral. It is your assessment of the event that causes suffering. A storm is just weather. It is your fear of it that makes it terrifying. Change your judgment, and you change the world you live in. The Stoic is not a passive victim. They are the judge of their own reality. How would your life shift if you took full responsibility for your own narrative? Eighth, seek out challenges. Do not wait for the storm to find you. Sail into it. The muscle that is never tested atrophies. The character that is never challenged becomes weak. Seek out voluntary discomfort. Take cold showers. Wake up early. Fast for a day. These small acts of defiance build a resilience that will not break when a true crisis arrives. Ninth, guard your mind like a fortress. The information you consume is the food for your soul. Are you feeding it junk? Or are you nourishing it with the wisdom of the ages? Be ruthless with your attention. If you wouldn't eat poison, why would you consume toxic thoughts? 10th, remember that you are a small part of a larger whole. We are not islands. We are members of one community. Your actions have a ripple effect. To live well, is to live for others, to cooperate, and to contribute. This is not a sacrifice, it is the greatest privilege. Now, the 11th principle is to be indifferent to things you cannot control, not cold, but indifferent. This is the power to say, I will do my best, but the outcome is not mine to claim. This is the detachment that allows you to act boldly without fear of failure. It is the freedom of a person who has nothing to lose and everything to give. 12th, accept fate with a willing mind. Amor fati, love your fate. Love the good and the bad, for they have shaped you. Do not just endure what happens to you, embrace it. The sculptor does not complain about the rock, they work with it. Can you learn to love the very thing that breaks you? 13. Practice self-reflection daily. Review your actions, your words, and your intentions. Ask yourself, what did I do well? What can I improve? This is the daily maintenance required for a soul that is constantly being built. Neglect this, and your foundation will crack. The 14th principle is to live in the present. The past is gone, the future is a promise. All you have is this exact moment. Pour all your passion, all your focus, and all your energy into the now. This is where your life is lived. Finally, the 15th principle is to build a man you would respect. This is the culmination of every other principle. When you look in the mirror, do you see a person whose values and actions are in harmony? This is not a destination, it is a lifelong construction project. Every single moment is an opportunity to pick up a brick and build your character. The question, as it always has been, is simple. What are you building right now? But let's pause and reflect on something deeper. The Stoic journey isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up every morning as the ideal emperor. He struggled, he failed, and he kept writing in his journal to remind himself of the principles that mattered. Have you ever considered that the struggle itself is the path? The great Stoics understood that wisdom isn't a destination, it's a direction. Seneca wrote extensively about the shortness of life, but not to depress us. He wanted to wake us up. Every day we waste on triviality is a day we could have spent building something meaningful. Are you building a legacy of distraction or a legacy of purpose? Now, let's address the silent enemy, comfort. Comfort is the thief of growth. When everything is easy, nothing is earned. The Stoic embraces difficulty because they know that ease weakens the spirit. What if your greatest obstacle is actually your greatest opportunity? This brings us to a crucial realization. You cannot build character in a vacuum. Character is forged in the fires of interaction, of failure, of rejection. Every time you fall, you have a choice. Stay down, or rise with more wisdom than you had before. The Stoic doesn't fear falling, they fear staying down. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. This is the Stoic way. Let's talk about the role of community. You are not meant to walk this path alone. Even the most solitary philosopher sought mentors, companions, and students. The people around you reflect who you are. If you want to build a man you respect, surround yourself with people who challenge you, not those who flatter you. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with, and what are they building? The final truth of Stoicism is this: death is not an enemy, it is a teacher. When you remember your mortality, you stop wasting time on petty grievances and meaningless pursuits. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. This isn't morbid, it's liberating. It frees you to live fully, love deeply, and act boldly. If today were your last day, would you be proud of the man you've built? Now, bring it all together. The 15 principles we've explored are not a checklist, they are a way of being. You don't master them in a day, a month, or even a year. You practice them daily. You fail, you reflect, and you try again. This is the rhythm of growth. This is the music of a life well lived. Let me leave you with this. The world will try to convince you that happiness comes from outside, from money, fame, or approval. But the Stoic knows better. True happiness comes from within. It comes from knowing that you are living in alignment with your values. It comes from the quiet satisfaction of a soul that has been forged through adversity. Are you ready to stop seeking happiness and start building it? So, as you step back into your life, carry these principles with you, not as abstract ideas, but as practical tools. When you face a challenge, ask yourself, what would the man I respect do? When you feel overwhelmed, ask, what can I control right now? When you doubt yourself, remember, you are the architect of your own character. Every moment is a new brick. Craft a version of yourself that you would choose to follow. The ancient Stoics gave us these tools not to escape the world, but to engage with it more fully. They knew that the good life is not a life without struggle, it is a life of meaningful struggle. It is a life where you wake up each day with a purpose, act with integrity, and rest with a clear conscience. And when you do that, when you build that man brick by brick, day by day, you will find that you don't just respect him, you admire him, you trust him, and most importantly, you become him. So I ask you one final time, what are you building today, and who will you become tomorrow? If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to Mind Forge. Your support helps us bring more of these timeless principles to light.